Let's move on to Barry, Kid Galahad. He's another mandatory challenger for the IBF featherweight title in his case against Josh Warrington. He's been on social media, really keen to have that next. In the aftermath of Warrington beating Carl Frampton, him and his team were keen to go over to the US and have a fight over there. Is there any chance that he'll be able to avoid the fight for now, or does it have to be next fight up?
No, because the IBF made an exception in the first place for him to fight Frampton. You know, Frampton wasn't in the ratings, and they made an exception. He was allowed that. And, it was a great fight. You were there, I was there. It was a cracking fight. And, you always want to aim higher. I can understand why Josh Warrington wants to aim higher and go overseas to America and fight the champions over there. But when you're the IBF, champion, they make you fight your mandatories. And that's one of the things of being the IBF champion. So he's got to fight Barry or give the belt up. And it's only fair. He's been allowed to have the big fight he wanted against Frampton. He's come out on top. So he's beat Lee Selby and Frampton on the bounce, which are good wins. And now he's got to, face Barry, who he's beat as an amateur twice and probably doesn't, rate him as highly as Frampton and Selby. And when you're being boxing them guys, really, do you want to be going back down? He thinks he's probably going back down a level. But the thing is, no disrespect to Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington's been on the rise for a year or so, whereas Lee Selby and Frampton have been coming down. And they've met at the right point for Warrington. You know what I mean? Not taking anything away from them. Frampton and Selby weren't at the peak when they boxed Warrington. But that's how boxing is. You're always going to get that. And, those fights were good wins for him. But with Kid Galahad, he's got a hungry fighter who's been, waiting for this chance for a long, long time. He's never out of the gym. And when that chance comes in a couple of months' time, he's going to take it with both hands.
Let's talk about Liam Williams, who was also on that December 22nd bill. Looked really, really great stopping Mark Heffron. A lot of people had it as a 50-50 fight in the build-up. As it turned out, it was pretty one-sided on the night. How pleased were you with that performance from him?
Yeah, I was very pleased because, I think the performance that he put in, nobody expected him to do that. And I think Liam Williams has always had that in his boxing arsenal, but he's never used it because he just likes to have a tear up. He's like one of them pit bulls at your Garden Gate, chewing at the postman's feet. But it's just having the confidence, him having the confidence to bring that boxing out. He could always box, but he just prefers a tear up. And I think going into that fight, he was actually the underdog on the bookies, cards, and he stuck to the plan perfectly. And stopped Heffron, and it's a bit of a learning curve for Heffron. It was a big stage. He'd been going through everybody stopping him. He was going to be the next big thing, unbeaten. It's always great when you've got an unbeaten prospect who can punch. They're good for selling, good selling point. And Liam Williams had been beat twice, so I think everybody were expecting Heffron to come through and win. But you've got to calculate into the equation experience, and that's what Liam Williams had got. And he handled the big stage quite easily, put in a great performance, boxed to the plan, and the win came through. And now his career's rejuvenated.
A lot of people expect him to drop straight back down to super welterweight after the fight. Instead, it's been announced he will make it the first defence of the middleweight belt against Joe Mullender. What was the thinking behind that? Why is he staying at middleweight at least for now?
I think with Liam, he was a bit in the wilderness with the fights after getting beat by Liam Smith. And, he said, they've come up with this fight, should I drop back down to light middleweight or should I take it? I said, listen, just take the fights, what I put in front of you. It's March, if you say, no, I want a bigger fight, that could end up in May, June, July, August. It could end up 9 months' time. And you're 26 and you've been quite inactive. So whatever they put in front of you, have a look at the opponent and take the fight. I personally think he's got to drop back down to light middleweight to be effective on the world scene. He's a big light middleweight. He's not a massive middleweight. But I think he's also been put in some kind of eliminator with Roberto Garcia by the WBC, which looks quite interesting. But I'll look at that fight, who knows? But I think he's going to be more effective at light middleweight. But whatever they put in front of him for the next 12 months or so, I think he just needs to, fight. I'd like him to fight every 12 weeks, become very active, and then drop back down to light middleweight and get in the top 5 in the world and box for a world title.
Brilliant. Well, we thank you for your time. Appreciate it.